When I say Mighty Ducks, what do you think of? No, seriously, like that's. I feel like that's an honest question because you have both these guys and the 12 seasons of NHL hockey from these guys. As a hockey fan, we kind of tend to overlook the origins of how weird the Anaheim Ducks slash Mighty Ducks of Anaheim franchise was and how they got their name and how they were originally created. Disney literally named a sports franchise after their 1992 hit kids movie where the mascot is a duck. And now with the release of Mighty Ducks Game Changers, the new show on Disney Plus, the film franchise is still continuing to grow despite how weird the origins of it are. There are 3 movies, this new Disney Plus special, and also a full animated 1996-1997 TV show that only ran for 1 season. I watched them all this past week. Yep, even the animated TV show. And in this video, I'm going to rank them all. Let's get started. Yeah, this show's weird. It's the definition of a gimmick 90s animated Saturday morning cartoon TV show, and that's really the only thing I really have to say about it. These oddly humanoid-looking ducks are from a parallel universe, and then they start to play hockey for the Anaheim Ducks, which I guess is illegal because I don't recall seeing anything in the NHL rulebook against birds playing. The Ducks are also, basically superheroes in this show, and they go on crazy adventures against this guy named Dragonis, who is voiced by that evil guy from Home Alone 2 in the hotel. It's really just honestly an almost mediocre kids TV show. The only parts I really liked about it was this character and the fourth wall breaks. But other than that, there's no reason to watch this show. And if you're an Anaheim Ducks fan, I would block this from your memory. 4 out of 10. This movie shits all over the first 2, and I wish it didn't exist. The main problem that I have with D3, the Mighty Ducks, is that the kids are older, and, they're past the cute, funny stages that they were in the first 2 movies, and now they're in high school. The acting starts to get noticeably very bad, especially with Charlie, and the movie kind of starts to become a stereotypical high school drama. The Mighty Ducks franchise and the Toy Story franchise actually have a lot of similarities. I say this because these film series kind of parallel each other by having the first 2 movies in the childhoods, and then the third movie about, growing up. But unlike Toy Story 3, they do this completely wrong in, D3, and they make pretty much every character an asshole. Coach Ryan is an asshole. Fulton Reed becomes an asshole. The whole varsity team is just a bunch of assholes. And worst of all, they turn Charlie Conway, who is the best kid character from the first 2 movies, into an asshole. On top of this, they either get rid of or sideline some of the best characters like Jesse Hall, Dean Portman, and of course Gordon is barely even in this movie. 5 out of 10, the worst movie. Okay, so I was initially planning on doing a full review of this series, assuming they would drop the full season on Friday, which they didn't. But I found out Friday that they're going to be releasing it week to week, which is kind of stupid in my opinion, because let's be honest, this show isn't fucking Game of Thrones. Not many people are going to be, looking forward to the episode like it's a Marvel Disney Plus show or things like that. I'm not going to wait 10 weeks to rank this, so this ranking will only be based off of the first episode, and I know it's unfair to rank something before it's officially over, but given what's in 4th place and in 5th place, and also the 2 movies that we haven't talked about yet, I can almost guarantee that when this show is done, this is where I will probably end up ranking it. This show is essentially the Mighty Ducks, but in the modern day. It's an underdog team full of misfit characters coming together to become a team. The main message so far has been about how winning is not just always the most important thing, and it's about having fun in sports. The same message that they had in the first movie. It obviously takes place in the same world as the Mighty Ducks, and is also set in Minnesota because there's references to the 90s Ducks, and also, of course, Gordon shows up. So far, my take on the show is that it's really cute. That's the one word I would use to describe it, is cute. I really like all the characters so far. Evan is essentially your new Charlie Conway. Coob is essentially the new Goldberg. I find Nick very funny and very relatable. and I admire the passion of Evan's mom, Alex. I'm excited to see where the show goes from here, why Gordon doesn't even like the Ducks or hockey anymore, and I'm excited to see if this team of misfits can perform as well as the Ducks did in years past. 7 out of 10 so far. This movie used to be my favorite, but after rewatching it, I think it's a little bit flawed. I really like the tournament setting for this movie, and as a kid, I really liked watching all the other countries compete against each other in a tournament-like fashion. But let's be honest, there's no way any of these kids would make the international roster. Also, why is Iceland the villain in this and not like Canada or Russia? Is there some sort of embargo on using Russia in Disney movies? Because they're not at all referenced in this movie at all. You would assume they would at least be there. The main issue that I have revisiting this movie, though, was honestly how borderline offensive it was. There's a lot of pretty on-the-nose racism. The new characters are all walking stereotypes.
That's Luis Mendoza. He's from our Miami club. A real speedster. Incredible skater. I clocked him at 1.9 seconds, blue line to blue line.
And this scene is pretty misogynistic. Oh, bum bum, bum 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 bum, bum bum, bum 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 bum, bum bum. There's also just shit that goes on the ice that is just so cartoonishly stupid, like the lasso scene or having Russ Tyler dress up as a goalie. But that is expected with the Mighty Ducks and, having a Disney movie about hockey.
This isn't a hockey game, it's a circus.
All in all, I really do like the pacing and the story of this movie, and it's a solid follow-up and a sequel to our number one choice, because, there's only one left. 8 out of 10, pretty good. Yeah, Mighty Ducks is still the best one. You've got a nice, simple underdog sports story about a team coming from behind. It's an iconic and loved cult classic sports movie. It teaches kids that having fun is more important than winning and is one of the most iconic sports movies of all time. And it tells a good story about the character of Gordon Bombay. Even though I am, a huge sports fan, I think there are very few actual good sports-themed movies, but The Mighty Ducks, in my opinion, the original, is an example of a very good one. It's a very simple story. Guy gets forced to coach hockey team, guy doesn't want to, but slowly over time, guy grows and learns life lessons while also teaching the team to love the game. They do some basic training montages, they get the best player in the league, and then boom, somehow this team wins the championship. The only things that really bother me about this movie is the dumb side plot with Charlie's mom and Gordon and their love life. It doesn't even get further developed in the rest of the movies, and I guess now in the TV show. I really don't care, and I'm here for the kids. Also, watching this movie as a hockey fan is also very funny because some of what these Hollywood producers' ideas of what they think hockey is just funny. For instance, no team has ever done this in the history of hockey warm-ups. Who does this? What is this doing? At the beginning of the movie, there's 10 players, so only 9 skaters, which is a very, very short bench, meaning you would have roughly 2 forward lines and 3 rotating defensemen. And unless these kids have the lungs of fucking Zeus, they're going to pass out in these games. However, the biggest issue I have in terms of hockey continuity can be summed up by this bar down video.
You may make it, you may not.
Just don't wear a helmet.
He's taking the shot without a helmet. He's just not wearing a helmet on his penalty shot. You can't do that.
You're not allowed to play without your helmet, Charlie. Put your damn helmet back on. Honestly, I don't even think these mistakes and, continuity errors are that bad. I just think it makes it more fun to watch. And it's funny to notice it as an actual, hockey fan. 9 out of 10. Great movie. Instant classic. Go watch it if you haven't already. And if not, go rewatch it on Disney+. So real quick, here's my all-time Mighty Ducks roster. I'm a big fanatic for line combinations, so watching these movies and TV shows, I jotted down who I would play if I were Gordon Bombay. My first line, Guy Germaine, probably the most overlooked character. He's the guy that the crush on Connie, and then Adam Banks, hands down your first line center. Second line, Dwayne Robertson, Jesse Hall, And then Kenny Wu. Jesse Hall was pretty good. Luis Mendoza, the guy that couldn't stop. Your captain, Charlie Conway, not the best player skill-wise, but he's a good captain, so he's your third-line center. And then Lester Averman. Then Terry Hall, who was Jesse's brother. He only appeared in the first movie, and then he didn't appear in any of the other movies, and there were like fan theories as if he was dead or something. And then Jesse didn't show up in the third one, but whatever. And then I have Tammy and then Tommy Duncan. Those were the brother and sister that were the figure skatings. They're one of the most overlooked characters. They only appeared in the first movie. And I couldn't find another forward because that's all the other players that played. So I added Evan Morrow, who was the new kid from the Mighty Ducks Game Changers thing. So he'll be your fourth line center because I'm assuming he'll obviously go and be like the main character. He'll be the new Charlie Conway for this new show. On defense, your first pairing has to be the Bash Brothers. Then you have Russ Tyler with the knuckle puck, along with Dave Karp, who I missed. I really liked him in the first movie. He didn't show up in the later two movies. And then, of course, you have Tommy Duncan. And then also from Mighty Ducks Game Changers, you have Nick Gaines, who's like the podcast guy. I don't even know what position he's going to play, but I only found 5D because I moved Greg Goldberg to your backup goaltender. And then, of course, you have Julie Gaffney as your starting netminder. Head coach, of course, Gordon Bombay. Assistant coaches, I just threw in for fun. It can be Mrs. Conway and the tutor lady. I don't know her last name. Michelle from the second movie. And then Hans, it can be the GM. And then it'll be owned by Ducksworth. And then the sponsor will be Hendrix. And shout out to my wonderful girlfriend for these artistic drawings here of the two Ducks logos.
So there you have it. All Mighty Ducks properties ranked. Despite my praise of the first movie, I give it a 9 out of 10. I don't think it's the greatest hockey movie of all time. I think there's a couple of movies that have it beat. So if you guys want me to rank all the best hockey movies of all time, comment down below. That is it for this one. Thank you all for watching. I'm finally happy to put out a behind the mic video, or the behind the camera video, and give you guys some of my own opinions after the whole laptop fiasco. Like, comment, subscribe, comment below your Mighty Ducks rankings, and thank you all. I will see you guys in the next video.